Welcome to ComicCast issue number 188, brought to you by Dwayne's World Comics and Games, 457 East Sullivan Street in Kingsport, Tennessee. They carry comic books, graphic novels, statues, toys, and gaming merchandise, including miniature games, board games, and RPGs. Check them out. They are still open. No games. They're on lockdown, but you can still get your comics. Dwayne's World Comics and Games, Kingsport, Tennessee. My name is Boogie Bentley.
And I'm
Jason.
Adam. Wait,
Jason, what happened?
I don't know what happened. Jumped the gun. I got excited.
He cut me off. He's like, forearm.
So I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, there's no Gaumer here. And I was like, wait, I go before Gaumer. Crap, I should go now. And I was like, nope, Adam goes first.
That's okay. We've only done this for 188 episodes. We're at ComicCast Pod on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, wherever you get social with your media. Also, you're listening to this on YouTube. YouTube is burying our videos. YouTube is broken. So do us a favor. Make sure you smash that like button, share out the link. Let's grow the live chat. Let's have a good time. We're joined by special guest, the writer, the creator of a comic book. Let's go further than that. You're a writer, a reviewer, a podcaster.
Oh,
and
man.
This man is going to get my video demonetized with the name of his comic book alone.
My bad.
Adam Barnhardt, welcome to ComicCast.
Thank you for having me. I apologize for the demonetization, but you just said YouTube was burying it anyway. So what the hell?
Yeah,
it really doesn't matter. I mean, Venomized Ryan's hanging out in the chat. Ninja Fingers is here. More people are starting to flow in, and they just drop super chats, and it makes the world go round. We're going to get into your comic book. We have a special way that we start this show. It's an icebreaker, and if you don't give the right answer, it's going to be an issue. So let's just jump right into it. What is your favorite Rocky movie?
My favorite Rocky movie? I don't know if I have. You said this is the icebreaker. Let's go with Rocky 2.
Oh,
Rocky 4.
Rocky 2. Nobody's
Rocky
ever
4,
said
that's Drago, right?
Yes, we all love
Rocky 4 for sure.
Yes.
I mean, we all love. Let me get this off the screen. They can't see our beautiful faces. We all love Rocky 4.
There you go. Okay.
That is the right answer.
Oh, you do.
There.
Very nice. Okay, phew.
I mean, we can get all the toys. We can get them all out.
Get all the toys. Oh, I like that Creed.
So Rocky 4, man. Rocky 4.
Rocky.
Was that the first Rocky movie you ever saw? What's the first one?
I think so.
I think most people.
Probably one of the only Rockies I've ever seen that I recall seeing. I'm not the world's biggest Rocky fan. I know I've seen Rocky 4.
That's the only one that really matters.
Yeah, that's all you need.
You guys must be huge Rocky fans, huh?
It's a long the listeners are probably like, do we have to hear this story again?
Yeah.
Like, one of my favorite writers is Brian Hill, and we had him on the show, but he came on, everybody bailed, and it was just me and Brian Edward Hill talking comics, and we had this bond over Rocky 4. And then Ryland Grant came on, and the same thing. He loved Rocky, and it's just become a thing on our show. How did Ryland? Do you know Ryland? Ryland Grant?
Me, no.
Oh, wow. See, everybody that comes on is recommended by Ryland Grant. So
yeah. I always figured they're a Rocky fan because he's a huge Rocky 4 fan as well.
Yeah.
Well, no worries, Adam. Ryland knows you.
Yeah,
like
right.
Santa Claus.
He does now.
It's true.
He
He
does
knows
now.
everyone.
He sees you when you're sleeping.
Oh no! I do have to ask, what's up with the Diet A&W? Because I'm a pretty staunch Bart's Root Beer fan.
Oh man, yeah, I agree. I like Bart's.
I try to have root beer every show.
Yeah,
and you got to have A&W. It's got the aged vanilla.
He says that like it's, well, I'll just like root beer. He drinks it directly from a 2-liter, like that's not a problem.
That's savage.
Yeah, Barks all the way over here.
I agree. It's
oh, really?
Yes.
Can we agree? No mug though.
Oh, I hate mug. Yeah, no, it's hardly root beer. I wouldn't even call it root beer.
Root
Yeah,
beer,
caramel, syrupy.
Yeah. When I was Boogie, do you remember the A&W? I don't think it's still there anymore. The A&W restaurant
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a great story there.
Yeah, there
Tell the
is.
story.
But I used
No, we got to tell the story. You can't stop there. Our senior year, me and Adam and a group of friends were planning our senior trip, right? Everybody goes to the beach. Well, we decided to go to the mountains, and we were having a conversation. Are we going to get a cabin or are we going to get a hotel? If we get a cabin, it's going to cost more, less money to spend. If we get a hotel room, more money to play with, whatever. It ended up with a guy getting a root beer thrown in his face. But yeah, the live chat's dropping the Adam emojis, and Venomized Ron says, "Where is Gaumer?" Gaumer has the coronavirus, so he won't be with us this week.
Not really. He is fine.
He's not. I'm sick.
Gomer
but I've got a bad attitude. What a dick.
Gomer made like hay and bailed.
Oh boy.
Absolutely. Adam's wondering, what did I sign up for? These guys
what the hell's going on?
They're not even talking about comic books.
This is a fever dream at the moment.
It is. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about some comic books. We'll get into Shit Show. Well, no, let's start there. Then we'll transition.
Yeah.
Why the name?
I guess like a carnival, right? The carnival, the spectacle of it.
Yeah, they're carnies.
Yeah.
I wanted another name, but the other name didn't get approved.
Oh man, what was that?
Yeah,
that was clusterfuck.
Oh, nice.
Drop your super chats now. Demonetized.
But yeah, no, it's just shit show. I can't even remember what I was saying. I had pitched the idea of what I wanted to do. I wanted to take kind of the look and feel of a carnival and inject a little Shameless into it. And we just kind of settled on Shit Show, I guess.
There's no wrong answer. Venomized Ryan in the chat wants to talk about your Funko Pop collection. What is this about?
I don't know. They're just a bunch of Funko Pops I've wasted too much money on. I still don't even have my office ones out of the box.
You got to open them and play with them. Like
you do. What else are toys for?
For a long time, I didn't open them. But now, man, you got to open them and play with them.
I wish you could see my desk because I have all sorts of ones on my desk too. But
mint in package.
Venomized Ryan also drops a $5 super chat. Thanks, Ron, for the support. Thanks for always being here. We appreciate it. It says Happy Spider-Woman Week, friends. Allied Geekery Book of the Week. We'll get into it a little bit later. Those Chip Kid covers are dope. That one's not that great though.
True,
not that great. So, Adam, why comic books? Like, you're a reviewer, you're a podcaster, so obviously you love comic books. Is it like a lifelong thing?
For the most part, yeah. Read them growing up, collected a little bit. My father collects comic books, so he's the one that got me into it. Then, of course, grew up a little bit and got out for a little bit, and now I'm back. I don't know. It's I wanted to write something, and I don't know why I settled on comic books. I guess I just read them, and they're kind of a pain in the ass to create. So I don't know why, but yeah, here we are, I guess.
Was it your natural inclination as to like, are you naturally like a writer or like maybe a different creative type, like musician or something? Or
I am not a musician. No, musician. I like music, not a musician. I don't know. I just wanted to create stuff. Natural creator, I guess, whenever a new PlayStation game would come out or an Xbox game would come out, I'd only get the games that would have, create your own character or something like that. Definitely a big RPG fan. Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of Mario Maker too, so I've been trying to get my creation on.
Right. It's a lot of fun. It's incredible being able to think of an idea in your head, and bring it out and put it on paper. And I'm a terrible artist, so thank God I found a real good artist to work with me on this.
Nice, yeah. The art's good on this, and the coloring too.
Thank you.
Letters are fun. They have that nice kind of bordered bubble, I think that's pretty cool on some occasions. Yeah.
Justin Letter Squids is the studio's name. He kills it with the letters, and we're certainly the furthest thing from a super serious book. We do get into a few meta moments, So the blood dripping and the ample amounts of poop emojis throughout, certainly on brand.
It's definitely.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was just going to say, just going through this book, it kind of reminded me of like Hancock meets Doom.
Very nice.
With a carnival thrown in the mix. And y'all definitely didn't shy away from the gore. Not at all.
Let me ask you this while we're talking about it, everybody. What are you guys talking about? We're talking about Shit Show coming out from Scout Comics.
Yep.
The release date is to be determined. Hopefully, looking at you said July. I know there's some questions about it. You weren't sure if you should send review copies. Should I share or not share some of the artwork?
You could if you want. If it's earlier on, I think I've already on my Facebook page. I've shared the first 4 pages. Okay. I know our my newsletter people have seen through 6.
Okay, cool. I'll just show the first 4 pages then. The cover and the first 4 pages. Give our listeners, everybody coming in the live chat here, what's the elevator pitch for this book?
The elevator pitch is a bunch of drunk superheroes that form a traveling circus. I shouldn't say a bunch of superheroes. One very, very alcoholic superhero and a bunch of kids he stumbles across form a traveling circus that went past our elevator ride. But that's the pitch. I'm not sure if you want me to get into it yet or not. Do you want me to start telling a little bit about this?
I was actually curious on how many issues are you finished. Is it like one story arc that's done, like 4 issues?
This story arc is 3 issues.
Okay, nice. I think that's a great investment, like little 3 short story, issue arcs. It's awesome,
It's there. That's the thing. I started plotting out a longer story, and I'm like, I'm not going to force this to 6 issues or something to get a beefier trade or something. I kind of wanted to get to 4 issues a little bit, but then again, even then it would be 3/4 filler and gross stuff. So
yeah,
we cut some things out and got it to a nice 3-issue arc. And once it picks up, it doesn't really, let up or go slow. As you can see, someone's battling a 50-foot snake right there.
Yeah.
Where'd you get hooked up with the artist? I love the artwork in this book.
Facebook.
Oh, wow.
Facebook. Samir Samau is the guy's name, a Brazilian artist. Warnia is our colorist. I'll butcher her last name. I don't know what her last name is. She does some colors for Vault Comics covers. I think she just had a new book announced too. But yeah, those 2 are great. And then of course Justin with Letter Squids does exceptional work as well. Yeah, I connected through them all. Justin was actually a referral. The other 2 I met through social networking on Facebook.
Nice. That's awesome. Where did this idea come from with these, superheroes and also this kind of world you made up where, some are depowered all of a sudden, and then this, also the Bale creature I think is really cool. Where did all these ideas come from?
So I wanted to make a circus comic first and foremost. Where did that come from? That's a very good question. I had the idea and I was trying to workshop the idea, and was it last season or the season before? There was an episode of Legends of Tomorrow, I think.
Nice.
And it really didn't, who was the, I'm trying to think of the actor that was in that, but in this particular episode, the Legends didn't really partake in the circus at all. They were just supporting characters.
Right, and they're kind of captured at the same time. I think I remember that.
Right,
one.
Exactly. And they had to bust out of like the lion's cage or something.
Yeah.
But why couldn't the superheroes be in the circus? So it went from just kind of a drunken traveling circus to a drunken superhero circus.
And this guy's kind of like Superman. Am I getting that right? Or
yeah, he's the Superman. He's kind of our beacon of hope here. And that's definitely what this particular arc is about. This guy who has every power in the world becomes a raging alcoholic. And his powers don't really work if he's drunk. So that's kind of a problem.
So I'm expecting like kind of like a redemption arc for this guy. I feel like he's kind of like the main character, but right now he's like a supporting character, and then the other two characters are kind of in the forefront right now. For now, I'm kind of assuming that's how it's going to go.
Yeah. This guy's name is Rich. His superhero code is Legend, I guess. Once upon a time, he was I don't want to say chairman. He was the leader of Legends Legion, which is the most generic superhero team ever. You see, we have Legend and Billet, who's kind of like a Colossus guy.
Yeah.
Cobb Mel, Sorceress. Lightspeed, your typical speedster, and Maxine, who hails from Saturn. And there's a cool story I'd like to do with her eventually as well.
There's also that kind of like the Martian Manhunter character that they transform also.
That's Maxine. And
that's cool.
And there's Wilson later on is also kind of a morphine character as well.
Morph. That's right.
Yeah, he gets into all sorts of hijinks.
I really like that magician character you have as well. I just really like symbols and magic in general. I think anything's related to that. But I thought the lettering was really cool with the different sigil symbols for the language. That was really, really cool. Really nicely done.
And did she have a Boston accent? Or something? It seemed like I picked up on something when I was reading.
It's supposed to be Creole, yes.
I got Creole as well.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Creole. Read it how you want. But,
I didn't read it that closely, but I did like how you could differentiate it. It's almost like she had three. She had her accent, but then she had her, I guess, her magic whatever words, and then you had the translation of what those words meant.
Yeah, that was cool.
Right,
I appreciated those translations.
Yeah, no problem at all. We wanted to make that quite realistic. We do have a pretty epic story with her planned. As well, do you have like a whole
entire kind of world or universe kind of in mind, or you want to do already?
Absolutely, yeah. Hell, if I can do a million issues with these people, I do. I finished the treatment for Volume 2 today. Actually, not too long ago. I have 2 volumes past that, and a bunch of one-shots. We have plenty of backup stories in the works as well, which may or may not be included with these.
Wow, that's incredible. So, that's a lot. You've been putting in work, man. Just waiting for it to come out. That's great.
Yeah, that's the thing. We're sitting on it, so whenever it comes out. But yeah, to answer your question, yes, I would love expanding this universe plenty of issues.
So what's your relationship with Scout like? Is it you do these first 3 issues, you wrap up issue 3 with a satisfying ending, but still open-ended where we can keep going with Scout? Is that your plan moving forward?
Yeah, so I don't want to compare myself to Mike Mignola, but what I love about Mike Mignola's work is he tells, essentially micro series. Like The Crooked Man was 2 issues, I think, right? Maybe 3 issues. He tells self-contained stories, but he might drop a nugget in here that doesn't even come back up for 10 years later. Yeah. It has no effect on the story or anything like that, right? But he does maybe introduce a character that he will bring up in the series. So, this first issue we have, it introduces some characters and concepts we might develop eventually, but it is a self-contained story within these 3 issues.
That's cool. Nice. I'm a huge fan of Jeff Lemire's Black Hammer, and I just kind of like seeing like amalgamations or how people can be just creative. Keeping in mind, I guess these homages to Marvel and DC, and it's really fun to see creator-owned projects and them use their imagination to create just something new and different. It's always cool seeing the different takes on heroes.
Black Hammer is one of my favorite IPs, and as you can probably judge, it does have a pretty significant influence on this. I've been loving Skulldigger.
Oh yeah, so good.
All of it's great. Everything they put out is great in that universe, though.
So good. The Barbalian stuff. Yes. Gabe Waltz is one of my favorite artists, so I'm hyped for that. But everything's so good. Skulldigger. It's just everything's different that they put out. Quantum Age is just absolutely.
That was fun. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm excited to see more stuff from you, through Scout Comics too. Do you have other kind of stuff that you were going to put out as well?
I hope so. I just started development on another series as well. I haven't even talked to any publishers or started pitching that.
Ooh, so news first right here. Here we go.
Right. That's
breaking news.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. You can have that exclusive. It's pretty I want to dive in so hard, but I know damn well.
Come on. Tell us.
No, I know damn well the first after I say the elevator pitch, people are gonna be like, "Isn't that James Cameron's Avatar?" I'm like, no, it's not.
That's firm, Billy. I mean, no.
I mean, hell, if it makes $3 billion, hell yeah, it's James Cameron.
Right?
Call it what you want.
That's where when someone says that, you just say, "Where do you think James Cameron got it from?"
Yeah, or hey James, how much you want to pay me to put an Avatar sticker on my product?
Right. Exactly. No, it's kind of like that. It's it is a sci-fi fantasy type thing. I mean, that's really the only thing that shares with it. It's kind of a tribal alien race type thing. Cool. No humans involved though. So
you're gonna build up like houses, kind of like Game of Thrones or something, or
there are tribes and houses.
Yeah,
I call them tribes. I'm not. Yeah, where is my board? I have kind of a board thing over there, and you can kind of see the house breakdowns and stuff.
That's awesome.
Gosh,
do you plan on doing like
towards that?
Yeah, I was going to say, do you plan on doing more like multimedia things? Maybe you can put out like a game of it, and like maybe the game can come with a comic or something, or you know.
Have you hacked? I'm pretty sure you hacked my Dropbox because I am developing this new story hand in hand with a board game.
That rules. I love mixed media. That's like perfect.
What are you going to do with that? You thought about crowdfunding the board game, or
everything? Hopefully, would be
awesome. That'd be amazing.
And I'm trying to I want to make this property so everything's in canon, which is pretty hard to do with a board game. But we'll see. That's what I'm working on now. I haven't even brought the idea up. I probably should pitch someone at Scout it. But yeah,
one of the coolest ideas, or one of the coolest comics I've ever gotten, was called Neon Wasteland, where they utilized they built an app, a Neon Wasteland app that you held over, and it had a map on it, but you held it over the comic, and it basically brought the comic to life. It was like augmented reality.
That's
so
awesome.
Yeah, like Jason said, anytime a comic can kind of expand outside of its pages to bring the world to life, it's always great.
Right.
If you guys talking about Scout Comics, the vending machines they're doing,
that's really cool.
That is what a great idea. What a great idea. Where are they? Do you know where they're rolling those out? Not that you're the Scout Comics salesman or anything, but where they're rolling those things out?
Not to my living room, because that's the first request I made. No, I don't know. I think they're selling them to stores, and I think they come fully stocked with all sorts of things. I do feel bad for the people that run the Scout Comics page, because every time they share the picture, you have the person, well, there goes my 9.8.
Oh, come on. No. I got excited, man, because the first thing that goes through my mind is people that don't read comics with an option to get their hands on comics. You put those in a Walmart or a Target or somewhere like that where comic books are not at. You put them in the front where people walk in and see them. That's a great way to get new readers' eyes on your product.
I think as collectors in general, I think, some people will buy things by just seeing it there, it's a brand product, like say they had, like in Japan, they had little kind of toys that are like inside those little tiny bobble things. You put a quarter in and you turn it. There's some brands that are just like, oh yeah, this is our company and this is our new product for like this year only. We have like 200 of these collectibles and people just buy it every day. Just put in a quarter and get a little ball. I feel you would say the same thing with a comic vending machine. Like, oh, this whole entire Scout Comics, this is what they have available. Well, let me get one each time I'm here. It's just, I think it's a great idea. I've never seen it done before, and that's fantastic.
Oh, it'd be fantastic. You put it as like an end cap at a checkout line or something by the main or something. It would certainly expand the market or the demo, I would guess.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to get back to, you talked about, you grew up reading comics and you kind of dropped away. Touch on that some. What made you drift away from comics, and then what brought you back, even if it's a specific series, writer, whatever? Just tell some of that story.
So I drifted away because I think I was 13 or 14, and I thought it would help me land a girlfriend or something. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know, just for a few years, because there was even a point I remember one Christmas right around that age, my dad's like, "Hey, you want my comic collection?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know." And then now I went back a few years ago. I was like, "Hey, does that offer still stand?" Because now that I know what comics in that collection, it's like, I mean, he's got the 181, he has the 180, he's got all sorts of Silver Age. He's got that whole Captain Marvel first volume, just brilliant covers. But then I think it was the movies that eventually brought me back. Iron Man, watching Iron Man in the theaters, it's like, man, they're actually doing this stuff. So I'm a bandwagoner in that sense.
Are you reading anything that's out right now?
I'm reading plenty of stuff. What do I like? That's Lucifer. Lucifer's probably my favorite active comic per se, ongoing. I totally dig Hawkman. I absolutely hate Hawkman, but I do like Rob's Hawkman. What else? I love Kate's Guardians. Ewing's is shaping up to be pretty good as well.
Yeah.
What else am I? White Ash from Scout Comics.
There you go. We had Charlie on not too long ago.
Yeah.
Love where that's going. Big fan of the Electric Black as well. Trying to think of what else I've read for. The thing with me, even as a professional reviewer, I try not to shit talk comics too much.
You gotta be honest, though.
Yeah, we're always honest.
If Gilmer was here, he would say, "How are they gonna learn?"
How are they gonna learn?
But that's for the most part. I read dozens of comics a week, so I'm just kind of having a mind fart right now.
Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite writer? If it's not Jeff Lemire, you can just plead the fifth. That's fine.
It probably would be Jeff. I am a Donny Cates fan.
Yeah, so am I. The other people on this show like to hate him because that's the cool thing to do now. I'm the only one that loves him.
You love him or hate him. I'm a Donny Cates. I wouldn't say lover.
Well, I am, and that's okay.
I like it.
Yeah.
Who else? I would have to say those two right out of the gates. Dan Waters is Lucifer, right? I can't say I have ever read anything of his, but I love Lucifer so damn much. If you guys have read it,
no, I need to. I need to get into the whole entire Sandman universe. I've yet to delve in.
It's real solid. It was slow burning, and then around issue 13, it's the ultimate payoff. Which is really kind of a bad recommendation. Just read the first 13 issues, then it's good.
I'm reading Hellraiser. That's on the Sandman universe label, and that's a lot of fun. But I suppose anything else that's related to the Dreaming or any of that, I have no clue what's going on. I'm always timid to jump in. I want to be a part of it, but I want to start from the beginning. I feel like I should start from the real game and stuff.
Right.
So.
It's such an incredible property to adapt for live action as well, especially with Netflix. It's just going to be absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, I'm excited for all those properties that are coming out. Boogie, you saw Lock and Key. I didn't get to see that yet. I was trying to think of what else got adapted recently.
What do you think of that?
I loved it, but I love the comics, and I thought the show. I was afraid people that didn't love the comics wouldn't like it. But I got my wife to watch every episode, and she is not a comics fan at all. My daughter, she's into comics, but not like diehard, and she loved the show. And then so much that I got her reading the comics, which she said were too vulgar and violent.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, man, I love the show. I thought it was a great adaptation. So many little throwbacks to the comic, but still a little different too. I thought it was great.
I mean, it's totally understandable. what they did too. You know, it's not full on horror. It almost kind of has that Harry Potter magic, but not quite. You know, I loved the show. Love the comics. Love the show too.
It was a good balance where you could get people that love the comic to still buy in, but also pull in new fans. Like my daughter saying it's too violent. The show's not too violent. She dug it. So I loved it. I love Joe Hill being in the cameo on the last episode.
That was amazing.
That's awesome.
So good.
Really good.
Is there any other projects you want to tell us about at all?
Not at the moment. No, just Shit Show. It'd be awesome if you guys bought it whenever it came out.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
I think everyone's gonna.
I legitimately, not just blowing smoke. I legitimately liked it. This is a book that's right up my alley in regards to like the humor, the subject matter, all of that. Right. So yeah, and it's only 3 issues, so of course, yeah.
It's a great starter arc to it's only 3 issues. It's not a big investment, you know what I mean? And to know that you have more planned, that's like even more of an incentive to get into it, just because we know there's more coming, So that's fantastic.
Right.
Is that pressure to write, knowing that you have more, but to try to build a satisfying conclusion to those 3 issues? You know what I mean? Like self-contained 3 issues, but I want to do more, so it's kind of open-ended. Is that a tough thing to do?
Very. I'm incredibly nervous. At this point, I think they're self-contained, but then we also have like the short stories that do set stuff up. So I don't know how people will react. But I hope you guys do like it.
Yeah. Are you going to branch off, have like a side story that connects both your worlds of like the board game comic and then this one? One big universe, the Barnhardt universe,
I would love that. But I think the Shit Show universe, the Shit Showniverse has a lot of different corners we can explore. You have the Maxine from Saturn. There's obviously she's not the only person from Saturn there, and we could get into sci-fi stuff with Macabre Mel. She has the dark magic, and we have Balaam in the first issue, and he came from hell. So there's another corner we can explore. Hell, I might as well just send you my whole universe outline at this point. But no,
is it called once you put all this out and you put it together, a big omnibus or something, or with the whole outline, call it the whole effing shit show?
The whole complete.
Bring both names together.
I like it.
The whole cluster effing shit show.
Right. Good. I do have a plan for that other title if someone would dare pick it up. We'll see.
Well, there was already, I forget who put it out, but there was a comic. I tried it. It wasn't up my alley, I don't think, but I think it was called Super Effers, but it was the C and the K, I think, were asterisks, but that was the name of the comic, Super Effers. I'm watching myself because I don't want to get in trouble.
Right. And by in trouble, he means me. It's okay.
But I don't see why that title wouldn't work. And I mean, as long as it's not blatantly spelled out on the cover. I mean, if you threw in a couple asterisks or did some clever cover work, I don't see why that wouldn't. I think it'd be a great title for a book.
So I'll pitch it to you. So I do have a logo, and it is kind of like the Shit Show logo, and the U and C are asterisks, or maybe just the U's an asterisk. But the concept behind it, have you guys seen Corky Romano?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's Corky Romano meets John Wick.
Sign me up for that.
Oh, wow.
I'm down for that.
So that is the theory.
Can we please get the character in a Girl Scout cookies costume?
it might be in there.
You guys want some cookies?
That's awesome. You've met the right publisher for that book when they say, "Take me on."
Yes.
That's great. That sounds awesome.
So that's my idea behind it. Yeah, I don't want to get in why it is a cluster. But that's the whole Maybe throwing some Knives Out, and it's
all right.
Knives Out, John Wick, and Corky Romano.
Cool.
Which is very nervous because I don't want to say, hey, I'm writing the Corky Romano sequel because it has like 2% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That'd be amazing.
It's
You'd probably get contact from Chris Kattan and be like, can we please make this?
Right, probably. Sure.
In some universe, Corky Romano is like probably like the second cousin of John Wick or something in some weird universe. Right. And during the holidays, it's like the one thing Wick always usually has a cool head, but it's like this Corky Romano is the one person that just gets under his skin. And then Corky gets him a dog and everything's fine.
That's great. John Wick universe, man. The stuff they set up in John Wick 3. Sorry, we got on the topic of John Wick. It's my favorite franchise.
Dude, I just watched that again for the first time since day one last night with my wife. We love John Wick as well.
It's amazing. They could do so much stuff with that. But
I think part 2 is personally my favorite, just because I think they were like, all right, we got ourselves a franchise. We got like a huge budget. We can just do whatever we want and create like a franchise. We're gonna have a part 3 already. I'm sure they already made 2 different story arcs. It's just a really cool world. I love it.
I can't help but I always go back to the first one. I love the first one.
I always fast forward past the dog part.
I thought there's that, but I just feel like it's like the purest, most simplest story, but the purest of John Wick, and it's like all the people you meet. You realize more and more just how much this one guy messed up and has no idea how badly he messed up by doing what he did. And I go back to that one. I'll watch the others, but then I'll go back to that one and watch him beat up Theo, whatever his last name was, in Game of Thrones.
I haven't read those comics though. I really want to. I think what's his name? I think Greg Pak was writing those.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, I gotta check this out.
I'm late to the game on John Wick though. I just bought them at Target like a few months ago. They had them both for dirt cheap, nothing.
Yeah,
I've only seen the first one, but I loved it. It's a great movie.
Oh man, I'm excited for you to watch all those. Jeez,
I've been watching. And if you like revenge stories, like John Wick, Law-Abiding Citizen, I recommend Peppermint. If you haven't seen it,
he just got it under his desk. Since it came up,
I have to recommend it. It's a Jennifer Garner movie, and it's like she's basically the equivalent of a female Punisher in this. So it's really good. I'm surprised there hasn't been a comic about it, to be honest.
You guys are blowing my mind. I don't know how to segue to the wrap up to move on. I'm trying to figure it out.
We're all that fantastic.
Yeah, it's just all amazing. Let's we'll just do it. We'll just get into it. Shit Show number 1 coming out. We'll be talking about it when it comes out. We'll be retweeting it. We'll be letting people know. We will be reviewing it. We've already read it. We're going to pull it anyway. We'll talk about it. Try to bring attention to it, man, because it's a lot of fun, and we wish you the best of success in the future with it. But you got a ton of stuff, podcasts, comic book reviews, all that good stuff. I put a bunch of links in the description, but go ahead and plug all of your stuff.
All my stuff. Twitter, you can see my handle on the screen. You can follow me. You don't have to follow me, whatever. Facebook.com/shitshowcomic. I am doing some in-canon viral marketing. There we have released some of our encyclopedia of the shit show universe over there. That's where you can really follow us. Instagram as well.
What's your podcast?
My podcast is Marvel News Desk. That's strictly Marvel Cinematic Universe. And as a full-time job, I write all the articles. You guys yell at me for being clickbait. So that's about that. Just follow me on Twitter, facebook.com/shitshowcomic, or our website, www.poop.show. You can sign up for the shit list, which is our email newsletter.
That's amazing. That's awesome. The perfect name.
I love your banner on Twitter. Gargoyles.
Are you a gargoyle fan? Because we could.
So I know Boogie's trying to wrap up, but like dude, I've always wanted to watch Gargoyles since I was a kid, but I wasn't allowed to when I was a little kid because I had a weird.
That was The Simpsons for me.
Oh, really? Dude,
Yeah,
so
really?
I finally got to watch season 1 of Gargoyles. I think it was like 6 months ago, and I thought it was incredible. It was one of the best animated series I've ever seen in my life. I think number 1 to me is still Batman the Animated Series. Closely by either Gargoyles or X-Men, because they're two entirely different shows. I can't really judge what would be a proper number 2, but I think just Gargoyles season 1 was amazing. I'm really excited to get into the other seasons. They're much longer seasons, so
it's so good. Season 3 is pretty forgivable. You don't have to watch season 3. Greg Wiseman says it's not even canon anymore.
Oh wow,
it's not bad. He's like, screw it. That's
season 2 for sure. Then
season 2 for sure. Yeah, I think it's like 60 episodes too. But Gargoyle, so ahead of its time, so good.
Yeah,
it still holds up 25 years later or whatever.
Yeah, I was surprised by how relevant and everything it was. Like this, it was just a perfect kind of family animated show, all ages show, I should say. Yep. Just like Batman the Animated Series. Although sometimes it does come off, campy and things like that. But it's a kid show. But like you don't realize until you watch it how it is for adults as well. I was so surprised.
Broadway shoots someone with a gun accidentally. It's like, Jesus.
Shot the cop. Yeah. Broadway, what have you done?
But I love Gargoyles so much. I'm sorry that we went off on that tangent.
Yeah, I'm sorry I had to bring it up.
Keith David. I mean, how not? I mean, Keith David, come on.
Are you pretty? I know with everything going on, but are you pretty active on the con scene as well, conventions and stuff?
So this is my first published work. So I have never set up at a con I usually am a regular at C2E2. Maybe I'm trying. I mean, so the thing is, Emerald City's rescheduled tentatively right around when this debuts. So I'm looking out to get out to Emerald City.
Nice, that's awesome.
I'll probably be elsewhere for work stuff.
I'm sure Scout will send you out maybe somewhere.
So yeah, Emerald City is usually a big Scout show, so I'm hoping we can do something out there, especially if one debuts between there. It's first weekend in August, I think. So,
oh, cool,
awesome. Well, like I said, we'll be behind you. We'll be supporting it. We'll be retweeting it, letting everybody know that the shit show has arrived. But thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate it. Everybody follow Adam. Check out all the links in the description. Show this guy some love. But thank you so much for coming on. It's been a good time.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, for having me.
Thank you.
Catch you later.
Yeah.
Yep. Bye.
All right, bye.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yay.
Oh, cool. So you couldn't watch Simpsons, huh?
Yeah, when I was a kid, that was like a big no-no. My mom hated The Simpsons.
I think my mom hated it at first until she watched an episode or two. Then she really liked it.
She was like, I'll just let him watch it. So I can watch it.
But she was definitely against like South Park and like Gargoyles or anything with magic and stuff. She was, she's to this day a Bible thumper crazy lady.
I had Simpsons T-shirts when I was like in elementary school. Walking around with one saying "Eat my shorts" and stuff like that.
I bought one maybe 5 years ago from like a little market that was out here, and some guy had a Simpsons T-shirt, like a vintage one, like a real OG one. And I was like, all right, sweet. So I bought it for like $10. I think it says like "Don't have a cowman," and it's barred on there. And I like washed it once, it's already too short. Like this one, I washed this once, it's like too small.
I was a Simpsons aholic, and when when the treehouse episodes, Halloween,
amazing.
It's like I had to be home to watch those. If I missed them, I was disappointed. But
absolutely,
man,
I actually had a Bartman poster on my wall.
That's incredible. I almost bought a Bartman record. I still probably gonna buy those eventually. I'll probably hunt them down, but I like to see him in his natural habitat. Like you walk into a store and find it on the wall naturally. Instead of ordering one online.
Do the Bartman.
Yeah.
Well, how about Adam, man? What another great guest.
Another great guest. Yep.
And I legit like that comic. I enjoyed it.
I'm excited to see the tabletop game in that comic.
Yeah, that's a great idea, man. Package those together and do it on crowdfunding some way. Comic and the game, the comic, just the game, whatever, dude. That's the way to go.
You guys know I'm a huge like mixed media thing. I would say even to top that off, I have the friends in like this band around here called Deathlehem, and they're like they get invited to video game conventions and they do some other like little tours and things like that. But they're kind of like almost like a cosplay, kind of like they dress up like as like knights and things like that. And they'll play like metal, and they're good. They're technically good. And they just put out a new album or it's coming out, I think. But they always win like the city papers, like Pittsburgh's like best metal band of like the year and stuff. They have a huge fan base around here, but they're a lot of fun guys, and two of them stream on Twitch, you know, when they play video games. But that'd be another thing to add on to you know, the board game and comic would be like a soundtrack of like, you know, that kind of thing. Be kind of a fun full package to get, you know. But yeah, cool stuff. He's coming out with some cool stuff, and I'm excited to see what else he comes out with.
Let's talk about some comic books. Spoiler alert for just a little bit later. We got 21 hanging out in the live chat on YouTube, a few more across all other platforms. I'm going to be talking about Fantastic Four number 236 a little bit later from John Byrne. Yul Carter, the owner, operator of Fantastic Comics, has agreed to give away a free physical copy of that comic book. So stick around. He's going to pick somebody in the live chat. So I know you guys are bouncing in and out. You're grabbing digital codes. You're doing your thing. Stick around. We're going to give away Fantastic Four number 236 from John Byrne, courtesy of Yul Carter. So
stick around if you like to get physical.
I would encourage you to go check out his YouTube channel. Just search Fantastic Comics. He does a comic book show every Wednesday, I think it is. So check it out.
He also says disease free.
He's disease free, so he will wipe it down and clean it and all that good stuff.
Antibacterial comic book.
He was recently on Peter Samedi's Alternate Comics podcast thing. So
nice.
Check that.
Sorry, Bob. I'm fussing at you, and I just realized that I don't even have that link to the ComicCast T-shirt.
I was gonna say,
description.
Is Bonfire and all those guys even shipping out T-shirts right now?
I don't know.
I don't think so, because for me, I use not Teespring. I use Store Envy and Printful. And I have those stores connected for little meme shirts and things I make. But I'm pretty sure they said their warehouses are only open in California right now, or maybe that's the one that's closed and all the rest are going to get redirected. I'm pretty sure everything's kind of messed up right now and no one's shipping out anything.
Yeah.
But
Yul's going to ship you this free comic, so stick around.
Yeah, there you go.
We don't care. We don't follow the rules here. Let's get into it. DCeased Unkillables, number 2.
That is me, I believe. Tom Taylor, Mostert, Scott, Edwards, and Locust. I got the this homage cover.
You got the homage
in real life or on your tablet?
You got that homage.
I love that. I love that, man.
Isn't it awesome?
I wish I could have got that. I love that cover.
I loves me a good homage sandwich.
We call that an homage, sir.
An homage.
I got the regular.
In Gotham, the wind doesn't blow. It sucks.
Yeah. Well, I never can bring myself because this is already $4.99, and to get that one that Jason has is $5.99.
To me, it's worth the extra $1, dude. You got it forever. You know what I mean? It's so well worth it. I'd rather look at it like something I like to see than like a generic regular cover that you're not too into. You know what I mean? For an extra $1,
I can use that $1 for
what?
For another
stupid DVD you just pulled out of your crotch.
Dude, stupid.
It's just
not stupid.
The conversation flows naturally, and Adam's like, "Oh, I got a movie that talks about that." Let's talk about this comic book, though.
That was interesting.
It was great.
Yeah. This one, man, I still like everything Tom Taylor's doing, but this one it kind of introduces the villains. Not so much the Unkillables. I guess they are now. They're part of the group now, but it was more like the actual villains, like Cheetah and I'm trying to remember who else, but. The good guys were trying to kind of recruit them, and they're like, okay, well, no, we're going to go our own way, but then things kind of revert to things go wrong, so they do have to team up. But it was really cool seeing just the interactions in general between these heroes and villains, and seeing them adapt to how they can keep up with these kids, take care of these kids and let them stay alive and see what they can do. So they kind of the villains train these kids on how to better protect themselves. And that was, pretty fun to see. And of course, things, keep going wrong. But there's some really cool, like, splash pages. This one I love. Solomon Grundy, he just rips his shirt while everyone else is firing guns, which is pretty funny. But yeah, the art is really cool in this, and the coloring's good too. And fun story. And you kind of see like the nicer, gentler side of these bad guys before things get worse for them.
Yeah, there's I really, once again, this was probably my favorite thing I read, other than Shit Show.
Nice.
It's just fun. There were some little witty things in there, like the kids not being able to understand Bane when he talks.
Yeah, you sound muffled. I can't understand what you're saying.
It's just great, just interesting things that happened in this just witty dialogue, and I feel like they're getting creative with the story.
Yeah,
they're not just saying it; they're using the characters to create different plot beats, and I think it's good.
But don't you think that's the way this entire DCeased franchise has been? I think you're putting these characters in unique situations, which makes it fun. I thought this issue, though, for me, this issue started a little slow, and then when Zombie Wonder Woman showed up, it's like it got so good. And I love the conversation you talking about, again, putting these characters in unique situations. I love Slade Wilson sitting there with Jim Gordon, and they're having this discussion about what they're going to do. How are we going to move forward? You know, it's the end of the world as we know it, right?
I like how his daughter is kind of into it with Red Hood. They're kind of hooking up, and he's like, hey, well, you guys should date.
Yeah.
He's like, you should date my daughter.
End of the world. Live it up, bro. But for me, though, they made this decision to take out the ones that didn't make it, right? They're all locked behind this door, kids, caretakers. Like, it's brutal and violent, and it's like almost like a horror movie.
Yeah.
And then they kind of moved into training all the little kids that they were protecting, and it got a little goofy for me. I liked it. I thought that part was funny, but when you take it back to back, like something so real and serious, and then you kind of transition to goofy, is a little rough for me to get into that. I still love this book, but that was a hard transition for me.
Well,
you have like Cheetah being Paddington, Good Kitty, or whatever. It's
it was funny. I mean, it was funny, but it's like it was tough coming off of. Okay, let's go in with guns and kill everybody.
I think it's I guess I'm going to defend it a little bit here because I've seen The Walking Dead, at least the TV show, do the same thing.
But get goofy though.
But yes, well, not goofy, but I think what they were trying to do, and it came off a little goofy, was they were trying to, because it's been like go zombie. Action, scares on the edge of your seat, and they're trying to bring you back to get comfortable to that lull a little bit. All right, everything's okay. Boom! Now everything's bad again. Everything's going to crap. Go.
Yeah,
but I think they needed that kind of breather in there to so you could kind of not only take a breath, but also let your guard down a little bit. And then they're going to do what they did with Mirror Master, and
that was
crap.
Great. That was great, dude. That part of the story was so good.
Yeah, it's really cool seeing Mirror Master like that, just jump in and out and like killing people like that. Then now Bane's infected. He like lit open the door at the end, so it's like, oh crap, now they have no protection whatsoever.
I do kind of wish it was more than 3 issues, though.
I know
it's been well paced. It's well paced for 3 issues, but they could have done 5 or 6 with this.
We'll see.
This
side. It's kind of cool how they also see the other team leave in the spaceships, so it's like, all right, well, we know that they're gone and it's just us now. We have nowhere to go. So I'm kind of assuming like everyone dies for the most part in the next issue, which is kind of unfortunate, but I hope some people make it out so we can see what they do with, Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, who are still alive, so I don't know. Hopefully something comes out of that.
I kind of hope. I'm wondering, are they going to do what Marvel Zombies did? Because in Marvel Zombies, you never have a happy ending. You just it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
They've already announced the next series. What is the next series?
DCeased 2, actually. Yeah, I'm pretty sure DCeased 2.
Are they going to beat it into the ground?
I hope so. I'm not tired of this at all.
I'm not tired of it either, but if you keep going, eventually it's going to get stale.
Yeah, like Marvel.
I want to see. Yeah, from day one, I tweeted Tom Taylor. I was like, yeah, I hope this continues forever, and like you make like a million of them, like Injustice. He's like, it's like working on it. It's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, oh yeah, he it's a gold mine. He's got a gold mine on his hands. Let's move on. The Resistance #1 from the new publisher AWA Studios. They dropped 4 books this week.
Yeah.
Written by J. Michael Straczynski. I'm going to make this stuff up as I go.
I think what AWA stands for, what? Artists, Writers, Artisans, I think is what.
Oh, really? Okay.
Artist with attitude.
Smarten me up. I like that better. I like that. Let's go with that. Art by one of my favorites, Mike Deodato Jr. Letters by Frank, or colors by Frank Martin. Letters by Sal Cipriano.
Really quick for Mike Deodato Jr. His last work was for Savage Avengers, and it was for Marvel. And I think that was the last thing he did or is maybe doing currently for Marvel. And I'm pretty sure he's going to move on to just AWA stuff, I think.
No, yeah, I think he's done with Marvel. Right? I think he announced that when he did the, what was the Lemire book that I loved?
Oh, yeah. Breaker or whatever. Breaker or...
What was it called?
And the one with the Conan dude.
Book. Yeah. Yeah, he announced when they did that his Marvel contract was done. He's done with Marvel stuff. I thought this looked way different than his typical work. I loved it.
Although it did have the same kind of grid patterns, he has like he does one big panel and then he does like a filter where it's like grids, like where it splits up the frames, and he has like always like a colored in gray block on the sides. Sometimes he has a certain design kind of aesthetic or style. Sorry if you want to go.
No.
Yul has it in there. Berserker Unbound.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Thanks, Yul. Hey, do you want to just come in here, Yul? You can just
right.
With us.
That'd be cool.
Yul, do you want the link? I'll send you the link if you want.
That's awesome.
Let me know. The Resistance #1. Although I would really like to have him in here for this. Let me send it to him, and then if he wants to come in, he can, and if he doesn't, we'll just keep on rolling. So let me find Yul real quick. This is awkward. We're just winging it. This is what we do. When Gaumer's not here.
Did you like the likenesses of certain actors and things? Did you guys catch those? I feel like the president looks like Ed Harris.
I see that now.
And like in the book too, it looks like Ed Harris. This one kind of looks like Sean Penn. Or
I can see that. Yeah.
Or I forgot that one dude who was in Reservoir Dogs. And also Pulp Fiction, the guy that helped him clean up the back seat of the car.
Oh yeah, that's a great
coffee guy
scene. Yeah.
But I feel like there's a lot of other likenesses too in here.
I sent Yul. I sent you the link from ComicCast. Yul's going to come in here. So
nice. I got both covers actually.
I love. Did you buy all the AWA books?
I bought 2 of them. The other one I bought was Archangel 8 because of the Jeff DeCall cover.
That's what I got that one also, but I kind of wish I had gotten the hotel one instead.
Oh, really? That was my least favorite one, actually.
Really? Dude, Yul's just on standby. Yul's in his office with his headphones on. He's like, the link's here. I'm on board. Let's go. Unmute yourself, Yul, and let's rock and roll.
Yeah, Yul. Were you muted when you talked to Peter?
He's cussing, so that's why he's muted.
Yeah, here's what I was talking about with the Deodato panel layout. He always has his lines going through them all.
That's familiar.
And then he has like those empty squares up there in the corners and stuff.
The style look different.
Layouts, design.
The style looked different for me. Let me break down this book quick while Yul's getting in here. So the book opens and it says, no one knew why it happened, but everyone had theories. The pandemic was a deliberate act of bioterror. What is going on? Okay, right out of the gate, a virus outbreak has occurred. The churches, I like this aspect, and I wish Yul was in here right now because he's talking about politics, and I wish he was in here for this because I think it gives you every aspect of politics and narrative and however you want to spin it. Mm-hmm. The churches are calling it the wrath of God. Conspiracy theorists are blaming chemtrails. There's all these different viewpoints, and just giving them to you. But the virus is 100% contagious, 95% fatal. Stay indoors, avoid contact with the outside world. 400 million people dead in just 2 months. But then, just like that, the virus goes dormant, and conspiracy theorists are back to talking about the New World Order and all this stuff. And that's exactly what we're going to see. When what we're going through now ends, once everything is free and clear, we're going to be talking about the why. Mm-hmm. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's the world that we live in. But they tried to, in this book, they tried to introduce some type of superhero, these twins. One of the girls is apparently dead. One's still alive. Yeah, there's the artwork right there. That's nice, Jason. Thanks for being there for me. But I wish they would have given us more of those girls in this book. That's a cool page.
Well, I think it's meant just to tease, Sure. This whole thing is a teaser for what to expect from AWA. This is the universe of AWA Foundation. So this is what every other book, the world that every other book lives in, is based on this. Apparently, these are all going to connect eventually. I guess Archangel 8, the hotel room, like all those.
Wow.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, that's what I get from what I read in the back of the Resistance to Letter.
Now that's ambitious.
It is, yeah, absolutely, and you kind of get that towards the end of the issue. I'm sorry to jump on Boogie's review here.
I'm done. You go.
Like right at the end, they talk about the different kind of groups that there are. There's like the discards, the beautiful, for the survivors, the hopeful, the lost, the searching, the transcendent, the mad, the dangerous, the resistance. But each one gives a little box. Like there's like a werewolf, there's like all kinds of weird creatures, and whatever genre you can think of, I think we're gonna get from AWA inside this resistance world. And I hope the resistance title is kind of like a summary of kind of the whole entire world as it goes on. But man, I thought it was great stuff. I think, the basis on it is very topical, relatable, and then also it leaves everything open-ended, so you want to know what's happening. I guess apparently this disease that happened, after it's done with, it gave people superpowers, and it's randomly out there to whoever. So if you're poor or you're a crazy person, if you don't want them, if you wanted powers, whatever, you don't know. It's a random crapshoot. And so you have a whole entire world of like a modern-day real world people with random powers. It's like, what's going to happen and what are they going to do? Who's in charge? The president, Ed Harris, it's like he doesn't have powers apparently, but he's like the Lex Luthor. He's really
so it's like a real world loot boxes,
right? Yeah.
I guess I need to go back and reread that. But I did go through the hotel comic. Mm-hmm. I really felt that felt like to me Ice Cream Man. I got Ice Cream Man vibes.
It is going to be like that. I think that's going to be like because the hotel clerk is like a crypt keeper. He's kind of introduces like, oh, it's a shame what happened to that lady back in room 1. Here's what happened.
It reminded me of Baby Teeth from Donny Cates.
A little bit. I can see that. Well, I had
the baby and the horror aspect. Yeah, there's a baby in it. It's baby.
Baby in
Bill Carter, owner operator of Fantastic Comics. Welcome to ComicCast. You've been here.
Thank you very much.
And then I'm sorry. I was just going to keep going.
Well, no, I want to transition and bring Yule into it. We're going to talk about all the books from AWA. We're talking about the Resistance right now. We're bringing in Hotel #1. There's also Red Border #1. What was the last one? I didn't read the
Archangel 8. I think I did not read that one yet. That's
so Yule, well, you think they were a little too heavy politically?
I wouldn't say. I mean, yes, I think so. I think someone in chat said something about the letter that Straczynski wrote at the back.
Yeah.
And it was like,
was he on a high horse?
Yeah, I think so. But I think the books are just very, I don't know, by the third one, and it was like, wow, Hotel wasn't that bad. It wasn't. It was a fine, and I agree as far as the Crypt Keeper thing at the beginning. It had that thing going on. But Red Border, oh man.
Well, at the end of Red Border, I was like, is this like, he's like, you're going to meet my family. I was like, is this turning into Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Yes, it is.
It better be that way.
It is. That was my assumption too. I said, okay, they escaped these drug cartel. And I'm sorry for those who didn't read this. It's called Red Border. It's this family. It starts off with this couple and their friends are at a dinner table, and they're like, oh, they're shooting the shit. And then he's like, oh, well, that was really good for you to stand up in front of the cops. I guess she told on this cartel to these cops. And then surprise, boom, the door busts open. It's the cartel, and they just shoot their friends. And then the couple escape there at the back. And while they're escaping, they like stab someone, this 20-year-old who ends up being the cartel's son's Kingpin's nephew or grandson or whatever. I think it's nephew. And so anyways, like, oh, so they're in deep now even more. So they're on the escape. They're like, okay, well, let's try to make an escape. We got to ditch the car. They leave the car. They run to some guy who's going to cross the border because that's the plan, is to escape the border. They have no idea what they're doing. And this guy's like, yeah, I can direct you where to go. And I've been scoping things out for like the past 2 weeks, so I'll direct you. So they're like, all right, well, let's follow this guy. They follow him. And then, eventually, I thought this guy might be on the payroll for the cartel, but he's not. He seems to be on the up and up. But apparently the cartel catch up with them on the border anyways. And then they get sniped one by one. you're like, what's happening? And one of the cartel guys gets his dick shot off, like another guy's, all the rest get it in the head.
Drop all super chats right now.
and so they're on their knees still, and this guy comes up, this hillbilly kind of hick looking guy, and he's like, oh, you know, I'll take you guys can crash in my place or go back to my house because, you know, gunshots went off and border patrol should be here soon, so we can't stick around. They're going to catch you. So go back to my place. So they take off. And I'm like, this is going to turn to Chainsaw Massacre. That's what I was thinking. I read the back, the letter, whatever, and it says, yeah, things are going to get much worse. It's going to be like a kind of like a Texas Chainsaw horror house kind of horror hotel kind of thing happening there. And then eventually they got to escape. You know, things are going to go wrong at the house. You're going to have cartel versus this Texas Chainsaw family. It's going to get really bloody real quick. I hope the boyfriend dies and she gets with the immigrant, you know, border jumper guy. He seems way more cool and not so uppity and annoying.
Yeah, he definitely.
So I don't know.
Cooler.
Yeah. So well, I mean, smoking weed and stuff. Yeah.
My problem with it, they were just trying to make them so recognizable to us as a reader.
Did you have a problem with the
kind of forget the
fuel?
Pardon me?
The opening dialogue. Did you have a problem there?
No, not really. It was just like we're watching this family or family and friends, and they're getting together, and they're just like us, you know.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to not even really care and think. I mean, it's just trying to make them more recognizable, so that when they actually jump the border, we're still on their side going forward. And I thought they spent a lot of time to do that. That was the one thing. I mean, bam, 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 you know, 2 pages, 3 pages of all that. And it's just kind of, well, you're going to get to another fight scene anyway, later on in the book. Could have been a little bit more story, maybe.
I do like that they had the Kingpin as a focus for a little bit. At the back of the letter said he's going through like a midlife crisis, which I didn't quite get that. But I did appreciate how his design looked really cool. He kind of looked like Kingpin from the Marvel comics, but of course the Hispanic version. He had like a mustache, kind of like a comb over and stuff. He looked great. I think his attitude is fun. You know, he's more like he says he's trying to be patient, but he's also trying to, you know, not be so impulsive, but he might try to experiment being impulsive. And he shot the guy that let his nephew die.
Sometimes
like, I enjoy this.
It's fun.
Yeah, it is definitely campy for sure. It's going to be campy for sure. Like no doubt. That's what I expect.
The cowboy guy at the end, you know, he's going to end up being a war veteran or something. Or
he's probably going to be eating kids and
military, and he probably has something against people at the border. So
he's a drug runner with a heart of
because he has blonde hair. Is it because he has blonde hair and he's white? Is that why?
That's right.
That's right. He's got that Aryan touch.
I really see me in him.
I can really relate to that guy.
Yeah, I do. Really,
probably. I mean, he's something. I guess I'm gonna make the call. He's got something against the Mexican people. So he sits at the border and just shoots them, and then takes them home.
Be. If you go that way, I mean, I think it's more gonna be more like a sadistic version where he's just anybody. You know, not so much Hispanic. But you're right; they could go that way. But the writer is, I don't know. I think it's 4. Yeah. The writer though, I guess is you know, he lives in both countries before, Mexico and America. And as far as Red Border goes, it's my second to least favorite. My least favorite is the hotel one. So bottom ranking is Hotel, the Red Border, then Archangel, and then Resistance. I really loved Resistance. I thought Resistance was awesome
because I liked. Hotel was probably my favorite. It's John Lees that did Mountainhead. We've not really talked about Hotel, so I'm going to run it down.
Yeah.
You've got this pregnant woman that's on the run from an abusive either husband or boyfriend. I'm not sure which. They don't really clarify that. She takes this exit off of Route 66, and there's this creepy old hotel, and you're like, what is going on? And she checks into this room, and she just keeps sleeping. She can't stay awake, and she has these crazy like psychedelic nightmares. And I'm telling you, it reminds me of Baby Teeth with the Antichrist baby that's just like screaming. That book is so good, and that's what this reminded me of. There's these psychedelic dreams, and then there's this demon in her dreams that is like controlling. And is it her baby or is it a demon? What's going on? And then all of a sudden the demon becomes reality. It's freaking nuts, dude. And I loved it. I think it was probably my favorite book. And I liked Red Border right underneath. For me, the Resistance, was cool, but it focused too much on politics, like the political aspect of how the political response would be to a pandemic, which that may be right up your alley. You may really dig that. I still liked it. I still like that book. But I loved Hotel, man.
I think mine went Hotel, Archangel 8, Red Border, and then Resistance is to be determined. You
want to talk about Archangel 8, Adam?
Let me hit this super chat real quick. Minimize Ryan says, here you go, Jason. This is for cussing and saying shit show and everything else. Ryan, you're the man. Like, thank you for all the support, brother. Go ahead, guys.
Archangel 8, it's basically what was it? What was the tagline? Even God needs plausible deniability or something like that. So basically you have this archangel who is sent in when basically bad things need to be done that can't be advocated by God and everything.
He's like a Punisher hitman, John Wick kind of guy.
Yeah. But I thought I don't know. I thought this book just went really slow. Like it went too slow for what I was expecting. And then you had the button, the moonbeam shot at the end. Well, it's like we know he's an angel. We get the premise. That was
a different guy. That was the guy that they're hunting.
That's right.
Yeah, it seems like because they didn't even say that this guy number 8 is an archangel or an angel or anything related, but his boss that he reports to is called Gabriel, which is the name of an angel. So you kind of get in like what the theme is already. If the cover doesn't hit you over the head, well, you know that it's an archangel. So you get what he is. Just we haven't been told what he is yet. Or anything about the world, really. We got just a little small thing that he's a hitman. He does what he's told. And apparently the guy at the end thereafter is an angel. That's the only thing. That's all we know. But I thought it was a cool introduction. You know, slow. You're right. It was pretty slow.
Yeah, it just went entirely too slow.
The writer said he's obsessed with Garth Ennis's, Punisher. That's like his favorite. So, and this is exactly, it's going to try to be that. And I think it's doing a pretty good job so far. So I enjoyed it.
If that's the case, it's been done. Punisher has been
an
angel already. Marvel did it. Maybe not this violent, but Marvel did it.
Right. For me, I think Resistance was my favorite just because not only the realness of it, but because it's the foundation of the AWA universe. So I thought they did a bang-up job, and the art and the likenesses to real actors is really cool. Archangel 8, I love Punisher and Garth Ennis Punisher Max, so I think that's a really cool world to get into. And then, my third ranking was probably the hotel room, or probably maybe the border, and then the hotel room was the fourth. But I am looking forward to more of those horror hotel stories to see if they can get me back. I just want to see more weird stuff, and that's where you're going to find it.
So, I don't have it. I'm probably going to go back to the shop or online or somewhere, and I'm going to probably buy hotel. But that cover is going on the list. The hotel.
Do we know what they're doing? Yeah, it's a small hotel too. It's like 4 rooms only. Apparently, it's like a really small place.
I love the other family that she met, and they're like, "We're going back to our room," and it's like a big number 2 on it. It's like she's in room number 1, and they're in. It's like that was
right.
Cool.
So they're next. You're probably right. They're going to do that next.
That dude did not look happy to be in that room with his
No, well, he's hitting on her, and then he gets busted by his wife. But he was also hanging out in the back where the landlord said not to go back there. Yeah. So. Yeah, there's a lot of open kind of ended stuff there.
I just got the impression that there was something more devious or violent going on where that guy had the look on his face, not like he's in trouble, but don't leave me here with her.
Right. Yeah. He did kind of scared or terrified. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought so too.
I will say Oscar's hanging out in the live chat from Lost
Hey, Oscar.
I will say for them, they talked about the Resistance this week, and they were talking about, their whole gimmick. I'd sit down to get lost in comics, which I love. I love that because I do too. And you sit down to read this, and it's like, well, I'm not really getting lost in comics. I'm just this is what I'm going through day-to-day life. It's like, that's not getting lost in comics. You got anything else you want to say about AWA before we move on?
I do. Do we? Sorry, I'm sorry. I thought you said everyone. Sorry. Go ahead, Yul.
Oh yeah. I just thought it was a little heavy-handed, some of the stuff, but the Resistance was pretty good. It was probably my favorite, and I really like that scene where they're in China, and they're trying to figure out what they're going to do as far as this virus that's coming through, sweeping through their country, And they're like, well, we've got these we got it all sectioned out. It's A, B, and C. We're in A.
Oh,
it's
dude,
not going to get B. And he's like, you know what? Let's get rid of B and C. And they just boom, blow it all up.
Yeah, and it was like the general who gave the order. It was his family was in that city, and the virus still went on. Like I think it was 2 days later. It said like millions were infected anyways. Like gosh, like dude, it was pretty emotional. I really enjoyed the Resistance. Do we know what's coming on next week? Is it going to be like number 2s to these ones, or we're getting whole 4?
No. I think we're getting new issues, different issues.
Do we know how many is it for again?
I've only seen 2. Because I went to their website today and looked, and I only saw 2. I can't remember. I don't know how many books they have total. Jorge Burgos is in the chat and says 10 minutes until we give away Fantastic Four 236. We're right around the corner, brother.
Yep.
Stick around.
Somebody get Oscar a granola bar.
Well, we got to move on.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, sorry. I just want to say I'm in for AWA. If they keep putting out 2 or 4 releases each week, like I'm probably gonna buy them, especially if it connects to the world. That's not very many to get into. It's not a big investment. So yeah,
it reminds me of TKO Studios. It's like the new Image, right?
Right.
Are you seeing any hype, Yule, at your?
We haven't been open, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I've got all these comics sitting on the shelf.
Well, I mean, I know they've been putting out. There was like the first one was $10, but they've been putting out the $5 like preview books.
I've only bought the preview books because I just wanted to wait till the real product came out. So it's so hard to get people to read the comics they normally get. How many do you have like sitting around waiting to go?
Right.
I don't
read
comics. You don't want to know. Doesn't help when you tell me to read John Byrne this week, and that takes me an hour and a half.
Just one though.
It took me an hour and a half.
It would have taken you forever to get there.
Great though. Great. All right, moving on. We're gonna talk about. I could skip Starship Down, but if you guys want to talk about it, we can.
Yeah.
I'll jump into it. Written by Justin Gampiali, art by Andrea Muddy and Vladimir Popov. About the Popov on this.
I read like 3 pages of this.
That's all you needed to read to know it was awful.
Good looking art.
Terrible book.
Cipriano. So this book, it's about Dr. Jocelyn Young, who's a cultural anthropologist. And she's being flown to Russia, and she's been sent in to look at some of these unique cave paintings and a giant starship frozen in ice. And the giant starship contains frozen Neanderthals. And then there's a cardinal from the Vatican who says "bah" to it all. I thought this book was slow to get to. They could have got where they were going a lot faster and included more, but I don't know, there was something about it that I didn't mind. I don't know what it was. I couldn't put my finger on it, but just something about it. It's like I for some reason don't mind this. I don't know that I want to pick up the second one, but I kind of want to see if the Neanderthals come back to life. That's it.
I'll let Jason recover after I say my 2 cents. I didn't like it. Nothing happened. The art was fine. The story was slow and dull. That's it. That's all I got.
Oh, Jason's got the book.
Jason's muted. He's like,
You're muted, Jason.
He's like, I'm going to read this real quick, and then I'll let you guys know.
I remember
you guys like to summarize everything so quickly, and that's true. There wasn't much of a story. I mean,
nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
What's
at the end.
Look like, Jason?
The cover? Is there another cover? I think that's the one, right?
Okay.
Boring cover, boring story. I don't know, man. It's like it wants to be the thing, where like they find this spaceship that's under ice or whatever. And
find that in the first 2 pages.
Exactly. Then they find this caveman in the spaceship, and there's 4 of them, and that's it. Like, okay, that's not much of a cliffhanger. I was kind of hoping all that would happen the first like 5 pages. Like I want to see these cavemen get infected by the aliens and then walk around or something, or who knows what's going on. I don't know. I'm not interested enough to care about issue 2.
I think I understood why I didn't mind this, because I think I skipped over a lot of the dialogue boxes.
And this guy was responsible for for previewing this book. Reading is in, he's like, just skip through it all.
No, but the funny thing is I still got it. I still got
understood everything. Yeah.
So that, I mean, if that tells you how much exposition is in this thing, oh my gosh. But like I said, I mean, even with that, it's like, okay, maybe things will ramp up in the second book. Because if you read the preview of it, I mean, they're leading on to like, this is going to challenge all kinds of stuff and have large implications for this story. So I do think they could have summarized a lot of what was in this issue quickly, and then moved on to some good stuff.
See,
Adam can't read.
Massey, you can't even respond to your comments because he couldn't read it.
Massey.
Shout out Oscar switched over to the
got pictures, Massey.
And says Chris and his wife are in the delivery room. Oscar, let him know ComicCast is thinking about him, and congratulations early, man. That's an awesome thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Congratulations.
Don't let it happen. It's mint and packaged. The baby's still mint and packaged.
You flip through it.
I'm sorry, what?
Did you read this? You said you just flipped through it.
I just flipped through it. Couldn't get through it. I don't have enough time for that.
Yeah. William Mace does say, if you like AWA, if you enjoy their books, there is a fan group set up. Go check it out. AWA fan group on Facebook. I'm a
fan member. Me too. Yeah, I'm a part of that as well. I mean, maybe I'll trade weight this if I hear good things. Right now, I have not heard a single good thing. So
you say that it's being made as a potential TV show, one of those comics.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, this seems like it could be any show on like ABC or something. Like, I don't know, man. This wasn't exciting enough for me.
The AWA books would make way better TV shows.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. Yeah.
All right, let's get into some random reviews presented by SpinWiz Comics. Check them out, spinwizcomics.com, distribution platform for indie content. And their goal is to allow readers to discover great content and for publishers to gain awareness and grow a bigger fan base. They're currently in the process of creating an app and setting up print on demand. I should probably touch base with my contact there because that app could already be here and their print on demand could be here too. Check them out on Twitter or online at spinwizcomics.com. Let's get into it. We got a comic book to give away. Jorge's hanging out. Jorge's down in that live chat just licking his chops, hoping he gets the comic because I'm going to open up random reviews with Fantastic Four number 236. Words and pictures by John Byrne. Letters by Jim Novak. I'm going to say these names wrong. Colors by Glynis Wine.
I think so, sure.
Sure, whatever. This issue released November of 1981. Yul, do you know how old I was in November of 1981?
Were you alive?
I was 4 months old.
I was -3.
I was 11 years old.
I was swimming around in my daddy's sack.
Demonetized.
I don't think so.
You know, random reviews. We usually do the stuff we read this week that's not on the list to review, but we were talking Thursday after the Wrestling Council, which you can catch either here or over at Akari Press. And you know, the stuff went down with Dan Slott. I really don't want to get into it, but I told them, I said, you know, I love Fantastic Four. I've got all these, I've got Mark Waid's run. I've got John Byrne's run. I've got Matt Fraction's run. I've got all these comics, Hickman's run, just sitting around. And Yul's like, you got to read Fantastic Four number 236. Why did you say that?
It's a single issue story. It's a little longer, so it's a little meatier. And it's just probably, it encapsulates everything that John Byrne did for his whole career on Fantastic Four in one issue. And it's a Doctor Doom story. Everybody likes that. It's got other characters that you expect to see in a cool Fantastic Four story. And yeah, it's just one of the best. Great art, great writing. Eric Larson hates it.
Oh, how can you hate this story? I sat down to read it, and I start going through it, and it was, comics are so different back then. You know, it's like it takes so much longer to read, but it's because they give you so much more information. But for me, it always puts a lot of pressure on me when somebody says, "Oh, this is my favorite Fantastic Four issue." It's like, what if I don't like it? You know, it puts a different pressure on you when you're sitting down to read something. But for me, I read it and I'm like, this is everything that I want from a Fantastic Four comic. You know, the team, they're in this, when you open it, I'm like, what's going on? I don't understand what's going on. They're living in this alternate reality. And it's like, what is this? Something's off. And then you come to find out they've been bamboozled by Puppet Master. And what I love about Puppet Master, in all reality, he's not that much different from Reed Richards. He is trying to do for Alicia what he thinks is best for her. So Alicia is living in this alternate world where she's with Ben. She can see Ben's normal. She is in a perfect world for her, right? And it's like,
oh, so is Ben.
Right. That's
Well, so is Reed Richards. He's at the university. It's great.
Everybody is living their best life, and that's what makes it so good. But you come to find out that he's working with Doom, and all this stuff goes on, man. It's just it's so good. And it's like Yul said, talking about Ben Grimm, and we talked about, that Grimm Noir book and how it's such a depressing story. So he's living in this alternate world that Puppet Master and Doom created. It's like a little model city. It's a model city. And Ben doesn't want to go back. They figure out, hey, we have an opportunity to go back. And Reed's going to talk to him. He's like, I thought I could find you here. And Grimm's just like, I don't want to go back, man. I have everything I want. And then I got chill bumps. Dude, I have chill bumps on my arms. That moment when they come back and Alicia's blind, it's like, oh my, this is an art form that is lost. This is not what you read anymore.
How many pages is it? It's like 45 pages or something.
It was an oversized. What was it? It was an anniversary issue. It was oversized. It was. Oh my gosh! It was.
And it was like anniversary issue 236, not 250 or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I haven't read it in years. I mean, really, I haven't read it in years. And I'm remembering and bringing up things without having looked through it, even as I'm talking with you today. And I challenge you, with all those multi-arcs and one of sixes and nothing went on the first issue type thing, I challenge you to remember what you read 10 years from now, because that's probably at least how long it's been since I've read this issue.
Well, we talked about Mark Waid's run too, Thursday night, and how great it is. And I can say it's a great run. I love his run of Fantastic Four, but I probably can't pinpoint an issue that really stands out like this did.
Yeah.
It's so Lost in Comics. You can get John Byrne's Omnibus, the first volume, for $60-$70 on Amazon.
Probably.
Buy it and read this issue. I'm gonna go back and start, which I started reading from the beginning, but the first couple of issues are team ups of Spider-Man, and it's Chris Claremont writing and John Byrne doing the artwork. But we're giving this away. Yul has a physical copy of this issue, and he volunteered to give it away. Like, we've been talking all week about how much I love this issue. He agreed to give it away. So if you want to enter for a chance to win, put a 1 in the live chat right now. Go put a 1. That means Adam can do it. Jason can do it. Whoever wants to win this issue, go put a 1 in the live chat, and Yul is going to pick somebody to win. And we'll.
Well, I'm going to pick. You can pick it for me. You're going to get me the address and everything, right?
Yeah, I'll get the address.
Yeah.
I prefer Fantastic Four stories that star Impossible Man, because that guy's a trip.
I haven't. I kind of skipped those.
Oh, do you?
I actually was never that big a fan of Fantastic Four, and it wasn't until John Byrne that I actually read them, and I dig them. And I've read, all the important stuff like Jack Kirby Stanley, and like the first Black Panther, the Galactus and all that stuff. But it's so funny that, like, we've been to the moon. We send satellites to Mars and all sorts of stuff now, or rovers to Mars, I should say. And like back then, they were just trying to it was before we got to the moon and stuff like that. It's if you believe that type of thing, that we actually made it to the moon. But it's like, this is what sci-fi was in comic books, and you can't. It's got to be all real now.
It's easy to go to the moon, Yul, because you're shooting a rocket off of a complete flat surface.
Oh wow!
Right?
Okay, Eddie.
That's right. That's right.
All right, Yul, pick a number 1 through 6.
Let's go 4. I'm not
1,
looking at it.
2, 3. Wait, 1. I'm not counting myself because I was being stupid. 1, 2, 3.
Pace.
Drew Manchu.
Oh, Drew Manchu. All right. Excellent.
Drew Manchu, baby. Drew, you better freaking read this book, dude.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's so freaking good.
And do a Drew Manchu Cantu crew review.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
we probably should have done one.
I like to see.
We've had plenty of
Yes,
time.
let's do it. Okay, that's the Drew Manchu, the Cantu Manchu review crew this week. You guys got to do this book. Jason, you can find it. You can find it somewhere.
Version. Yeah, I probably have the Marvel app unlimited. You know?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Drew's already listing it on eBay. Oh.
I wouldn't say it's mint, but it's not all soiled or anything like that.
Drew, just shoot me your message in the private group, and I'll get it over to Yule and have him send it out. But dude, shout out to you. I'm so glad you told me that.
I'm happy.
Such a good issue, man. I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna blast through these last couple of things. Family Tree number 5 from Jeff Lemire. Well-timed comic book. Before I read The Resistance, talking about life before the world burned and before people started turning into trees, talking about the little things we take for granted, right? It's showing the father and he's yelling at the mom's yelling at him, all over day-to-day stuff that doesn't even matter when we're all locked in our houses with the doors shut and you can't go outside, you can't do the things you do. I saw somebody on social media talking about everything that's going on, and they talked about how, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 3 months from now, all this is going to be over. How much are you going to appreciate going out to dinner with a friend, going to the gym, going to the bar to have a beer, going to jiu-jitsu, doing the things that you like to do is going to be so much more important. I can't think of a time since 9/11 where the world has stood still like it is right now. It's crazy. It's crazy. And this book kind of touched on some of those things. But the end-all be-all of this book is the little girl has full-on turned into a tree. She is the first to fully convert to a tree. And then you flip to the last page, fast forward 5 years, the little brother says, I'm the only man left that can save the world. And it's like, what is Jeff Lemire doing, dude? What is he doing? This book is so freaking good. Did anybody else read this, Family Tree?
I didn't get a chance to read it recently.
Yeah. Are you reading the series, though, Yule?
I was reading, I read like the first 3 or 4, so I probably didn't read this one, but I've enjoyed it. It's not the same as some of his other, there's Jeff Lemire's that do really well. And then there's the other ones that kind of, for whatever reason, just don't really sell that well. Well, I can only tell you,
people are
don't fight numbers.
So do people turn into different species of trees and shrubbery?
Adam.
What?
The Plunge number 2, Joe Hill, Stuart. Dude, I wasn't going to buy this. I made fun of Jason for saying he was going to buy it. And then I bought it.
What happened to the dildo shipment?
Dude, it is so freaking
good. Really?
Where's the dildo?
It's so good. It seems to be the case for all of these Hill House books. I have no desire to pick this up, but for some reason it's in my box and I grab it and I buy it and I pay for it.
I see. My plan was to buy all the Gary Frank covers, and so my store was out of the Gary Frank covers. So I was like, well, I just won't get it this week. Maybe they'll get it next week, and I'll get it there. But
this was like almost a Lost type vibe on the island where the dildo dude was at.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember at the end, he had slit his throat, but he was talking to the girl. Well, when they get there, he's dead. And so they put him in a body bag, throw him on the ship, and they kind of start searching the island. They're like, he can't be here alone. They start searching the island. There's freaking sea monsters. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. The dead dude. Should I spoil it for you? Do you want me to spoil it?
Yeah.
So the dead dude that was there with the slit throat, he's in a body bag. He unzips himself out of the bag, blows up their freaking boat, and it is complete chaos, dude. It's so great.
Now. Yeah,
it's
nice.
so great.
That's cool.
They're like up on the mountain, and they're like, it's dark. We can't see our way down. We would be much safer on the. And then it just goes up in flames. It's like, dude, it was such a good issue. That's it. That's all I got.
Why does it keep seeming like these Hill House comics, the second issue is the one that gets you?
It's the truth.
But how many people are surviving past that first issue?
Right. Idiot. I'm the only idiot. But I'm enjoying their books because of that. It makes no sense, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna catch up on all those Hill House. I will.
I'll stick with AWA.
Dollhouse Family, great. Basketful of Heads is just okay. This was good. Do they sell for you, Yule, or no?
Joe Hill usually sells pretty well, and we have a pretty okay Mike Carey. And who's the artist on that one? The Dollhouse one? Oh, Peter Gross. And they did Unwritten together, other Vertigo books. They've done Highest House, I think, is what it was, like a fantasy book for Boom or something like that. So they've like worked together. They're kind of like the off-brand Brubaker Sean Phillips connection.
Nice.
Shout out to Yule, though. Also, going back to that Fantastic Four book, subscribe to his YouTube channel, Fantastic Comics. You go live on what, Wednesdays at Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern.
8 o'clock, so it's late for you guys on the
11
East
Eastern.
Coast.
I never watch it. I always watch it the next day, and it's I don't know. You guys drop the ball. It should be the Yule and Lowell show. The Yule and Lowell show. Lowell was great this week with the sock.
Oh yeah,
he was great. It was a great episode
or something.
There's never a lull in the episode.
Do me a favor though, guys, for real. We got a lot of subscribers to this channel, a lot of views after the fact, after we're live. Go subscribe, Fantastic Comics, search it, subscribe. Yule does great content.
Dude, I appreciate that.
And go check out Yule on Alternate Comics page with
that was a great show
with Peter Stameti.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it, man.
Oh.
You were worried.
I only lost my way once.
It was a good interview. Peter's great though. You guys were just two dudes talking comics. It was great. Jason, what'd you read this week?
I want to give a shout out to Robin because I feel like we got to. It's so thick.
Still got to read it.
80th anniversary. I picked the Jim Lee cover.
That's the one I got to.
Pretty great. It's the 1940s variant cover. I love that old school font though. That's mainly why I got it. The old Robin. The other covers were pretty good too, but that one was just the main.
I've heard it's good. Was it Drew that was telling us it was good?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty decent. I mean it's a bunch of mini stories as you would expect. The ones I liked the best, I would say, is the Tinian run. It's about Tim Drake, Red Robin, and it's kind of I would say before his detective run. It's kind of like the prequel to that story. So that's pretty cool if you like his detective run. And then the Tomasi Super Sons story was really cool. And then there was also the Tom King, Tim Seeley, Dick Grayson, Agent 37 story. I feel like I can kind of tell which part was written by Tom King, which part was written by Tim Seeley. It's pretty much Agent 37, Dick Grayson giving advice to a new recruit the whole entire way, but he does flashbacks of what Batman told him, and then he'd give his advice to this new understudy of his. And he kept giving opposite advice of what Batman gave him. I'm like, okay, that's Tom King doing there. And like, what's going to happen? How's this going to wrap up? And at the end, it's probably the one that Tim Seeley wrote. And it was like, oh, well, had Batman say, be yourself, don't just listen to me. And that's what Dick Grayson tells his understudy itself is like, just be yourself. You don't have to listen to everything I told you. But if it would have been Tom King, it would have just ended being like, don't listen to anything Batman said.
And this understudy was Jason Todd, and we all saw how that turned out.
Nice. Also, want to give a shout out to You're the Villain, Hella Risen, issue 4 out of 4. Here's the A cover, then I got the B cover, which I think is just lovely. I think Federici is the guy that does it, but I love his stuff. But yeah, it's fun. It ends up that Lex Luthor gets his power taken away from whatever her Perpetua. I forgot her name for a second. And then the Batman Who Laughs is kind of like her new main 2 sidekick, second in command. And so I'm excited to see more in this Batman Metal 2. So that's what got me into comics. So I'm stoked to read more about that.
It was his new main 2 review crew.
Yeah.
Also, I got that Fantastic Four. I'm out. He's gone.
Picked up this Captain Marvel cover. I forgot the dude's name that does it. He makes a lot of digital images on Twitter as well. He's really cool. I got this Matina cover for Batman. Batman's been fun with the designer and all that jazz going on over there. And this one, pretty much, it's just the Riddler saying, it's my turn to take a shot at you, Batman. And that's all I picked up for this week. As far as like reads, man, I read a lot of stuff digitally, which I don't really want to go over all of them. Conan the Barbarian is awesome. Jim Zub, I think, is doing a fantastic job for taking over for Jason Aaron. So if you didn't get a chance to check any of this out, check out Conan the Barbarian. I think it's excellent. Guardians of the Galaxy by Ewing has been a lot of fun for me. I've been enjoying that. I guess I should mention Outlawed. That's a new event going on with all the Champions characters. It's okay. I wasn't a big, huge Champions fan in general. And this is kind of like their Civil War kind of beef going on where like the government comes in and regulates them.
My problem is
it's a bunch of kids saying they don't take us seriously.
They say it's illegal to be a vigilante under the age of 21. Well, it's illegal to be a vigilante, period. So this is a stupid premise.
Yeah.
You can't be a vigilante. You just smoke your cigarettes and be cool.
You can't until you're 21 either.
Yeah, right. They changed the law on that. Yeah, that's right. I do want to talk about Valkyrie, Jane Foster. I caught up on that, and that's one of the few things Jason Aaron is still writing, besides the Avengers. And I think I enjoy Valkyrie more than the Avengers book at this point. And that involves some Avengers characters too in this last 2 issues. But yeah, it's been spectacular. It's been a lot of fun adventures and funny at a good point of times.
Is that worth reading in trade? Because I love the first couple of issues and then just kind of stop reading.
Yeah, I would say stick it out in trade. Yeah, first she battled Bullseye, and then she battled Grim Reaper. They're all kind of like death related, there's also some back end stuff going on with Mephisto, which I love Mephisto, and just, the Satan of the Marvel universe. And that also is tying in with, what he's doing with the Avengers, because Mephisto is in there as well. I also caught up on Ghost Rider, and Mephisto is in there as well. So I'm trying to keep up with all that stuff and all those different titles. So right now, those are the 3 that I'm juggling for Mephisto related stuff. I think that's all that's with Mephisto is those 3 books.
What the heck is Jason Aaron doing?
Yeah, I think he has
like a crossover. The way you just put it out there, I'm like, oh my god, it's going to be a 9 or 12 part story that's going to go through all the 3 issues.
Yeah, with Mephisto.
He should go back and write Southern Bastards is what he should do.
I think he is. I think he's going to go back. I think he has something new planned coming out for Image. I want to say Southern Bastards again.
Goddamned is coming back out also.
Yeah, that's what
is it really?
Yeah.
See, the Cameron at Dwayne's World keeps telling me I need to read that. I've not read it.
It's all right. It's just a real gritty kind of like Old Testament story. I mean, at least what I read of it.
And you mentioning the Captain Marvel book made me think. There was a cover of Captain Marvel that came out that I loved, and Dwayne didn't have it, and I was looking online to get it just because I liked the cover, and I ended up on Kelly Thompson's website, and she had it for the cover price with an autograph.
Awesome.
And all you had to do is pay shipping, and I was like, well, I'll just get it from her and have it autographed.
Yeah.
Why not? It's sitting right here, but I can't freaking reach it. And so I got it, but I ordered it around Christmas. And so she was like, my shop is shutting down at a certain time. And I was like, well, that's fine. I'll just get it after Christmas. It's no big deal. So then when she shipped it, she sent me Deadpool #1 autographed also and said, sorry for the delay. Here, enjoy. I'm thinking about giving that autographed Deadpool #1 away when she comes on the show April 19th.
That's a great prize.
I think I'll do that. And because I didn't pay for it. It was like a thank you. And I'm
that's awesome. Yeah, paying it forward to the listeners, man.
Sure.
That's great.
So I'll ship it out to somebody. Adam, did you read anything this week?
Yeah.
Was that?
Yeah. Well, and I just want to do some shout outs, but I don't know, but picking up Dave Chisholm's Canopus.
Nice.
Yeah, dude, nice.
So picking that up, and I'm still enjoying from the pages of Wrong Earth, Dragonfly and Dragonfly Man.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I don't know why I'm holding it like that.
Like comics.
Like an idiot. But yeah, that, and we just talked about Alterna, but I still enjoy it. Came out on a Wednesday.
Hell yeah.
Where you get all your various mini stories. I don't have to pay $10 for a DC book to get mini stories when I could pay $2.
Oh, he's hating on me and Jason for buying that.
The extra $1 cover.
You were talking about the logbook on Peter's.
Oh my god, it was so cool. It's just a stupid book about this log guy defending the world. I was reading this and I'm like, God, man, what would be cool is like this log just is like going through time, through wood channeling or something and just do some crazy stuff. But yeah, it was pretty cool. It's black and white. Oh, I don't know, man. I've been looking through all my old stuff. That's why I just came across the Fantastic Four book that we gave away, and I was like, oh, shoot you a line about that. But I've got all these like Underground and Independents from like the 90s and earlier, and I like Black and White. It was what Turtles was, and there's not been, there's like 5, maybe 10 comics in the course of my life that have been like really seminal, and like Turtles number one, we're right up there at least,
Walking Dead, wasn't that Black and White when it started?
Yeah, sure.
I think Bone was also.
Yeah.
Which I think there's a lot. The Tick, I think, was Black and White. There's a lot.
Aardvark.
Cerebus.
Yeah.
Dude, Cerebus, back in like the 80s when Dark Horse was first being published, or publishing comics, they had this one called Boris the Bear, and he was like this bear, and he was like a marine looking bear. He has like guns and stuff like this. He's strapped with knives and Rambo basically, but he's a bear. And he was going off, and he was like just offing all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And there was like a proliferation of like knockoffs back then, like radioactive black belt hamsters and geriatric something turtle, whatever. And
they
it's just like
they all had 3D comics too.
Exactly. Oh, dude, 3D in the 8. I totally collect that stuff. I've got stuff right over here. If I wasn't hooked up, I'd get them. But I'm big on 3D comics also. But,
did you read anything this week, Yule? Anything new? What talking about?
Yeah, well, I read the 3 issues of AWA. I didn't read Archangel 8. I read the Log one, and I read some other crap.
Anything else? Anything? What's your favorite stuff coming out right now? You don't get to come on here very often.
Yeah. My favorite, believe it or not, coming out from Marvel is Amazing Spider-Man. I really like that.
I lost so much respect for you.
Yeah, it's not my favorite Spider-Man I've ever read. It's the best incarnation of Spider-Man I've read in quite a while.
It's the best in 10 years, aka better than Dan Slott.
Well, there was stuff about Dan Slott's run I really did like, but not all of it. Yeah, well,
I'll let you talk. I'm going to mute myself.
He had a lot of good artists that worked with him. He had some really good stories. He had attention to detail and definitely exploited things that he wrote many, many years later. And I appreciate a lot of those aspects. And even the Tony Stark Spider-Man Peter Parker life, wasn't the worst in the world. It just sometimes people didn't like his relationship with some of the ladies. And I never liked Silver Sable, so she can get out, Silver Sable, she's a gimmick cover at that, and I don't need any more,
But you're
Go back to the 90s where you belong, B.
You're digging Nick Spencer's run?
I remember
Nick Spencer's X-Men is really good. I like that.
Spider-Man. We've lost control.
Anyhow, you should read it. It's funny. That's the one thing about Nick Spencer. He can actually write a joke. If there was a time when Dan Slott, when he wrote Spider-Man and the Human Torch, it was a 6-issue miniseries. Hunt that down. You're not giving him any money, so hunt it down. You don't want to get like a new trade, then you're giving him money. So go to your comic store and get a back issue if you can. I don't have it. Anyhow, it was really good, and it took a place. Each story was a 1-issue story, and it took place at a moment in Spider-Man and his life with the Torch. And so, like the Spider Buggy, they had a whole issue about that. And they're always meeting on the Statue of Liberty and searching their feelings and whatnot. So it was a pretty good mini series. I like that one a lot. That's some good Dan Slott.
I will say this: Amazing Spider-Man from Nick Spencer was a lot like The Flash from Joshua Williamson. I liked it, but it had a lot of ups and downs. Like I thought The Hunted was really good, but I got sick of it coming out so much and costing me so much money that I dropped it. And now I'm in the shop and I look and I'm like, I kind of want to read that again. But I stopped
right at the prequel to the Hunted, like
The
the
Hunted
Black
was
Cat.
good.
As soon
I
as Black
like
Cat
The
popped up, I was like, okay, this is the start of Hunted, you know, kind of like the precursor. That's when I dropped off because I saw it was like all the 0.5s were going to come out. And I was like, oh, no. So I think I missed like 20 issues or something like that.
Those
now.
0.5s weren't bad, though. Those 0.5s were okay.
That's what I hear.
Minimize Ryan brings up a good point. Bi-weekly. That kills it, dude. I can't spend that money bi-weekly. We got to go ahead.
Start with 38, 39, and 40. Just read those issues.
Is that what's coming out? Does that come out tomorrow or
no? Those were the last ones that came out.
The last art.
Those are good. No, they're just issues. Just read them.
Okay. Let's move on. We got to get into the outright geekery book of the week. OutrightGeekery.com, your one-stop shop for news, reviews, previews, podcasts, everything geek at your fingertips. Also, the home of the Outright Geekery Podcast Network. Check them out. The Geek Savs, Get Valiant, the Comic Book Bullies, Instruments of Destruction, and, of course, ComicCast. OutrightGeekery.com.
The people in that video are not abiding by the safe space rules.
I feel like the audio is way too quiet on that. Is it kind of down? I can edit it and fix it, or is it fine?
It's all right.
Yeah, it's better than being too loud.
Yeah, that's true.
It gets the point across.
This was supposed to be Gaumer, but I'm going to take it over. Oh, I don't even have anything.
Oh, I like that.
But I got the book. Spider-Woman #1, written by Carla Pacheco, artist Hooray Perez, colors by Frank Diamarta. That's enough. I'm not figuring it out. It's complicated.
That's it. That's all there is.
That's all that matters. This was 2 completely different stories with 2 different cliffhangers that don't connect in any way. So after $5, do we really know anything? I know that's the Marvel way. The book was fine, but the story, it was enjoyable, I guess. The art was solid, but this was laid out exactly like Wolverine, like 2 completely separate comics that had nothing to do with each other. The first story was kind of pointless, but I still kind of dug it. She needs money, so she's like a bodyguard for this rich kid, looking after the child at a birthday party. But something's making her sick. That's kind of stupid. I don't really care about that. Cool, whatever. The second story was way more intriguing. I know I'm complaining.
Costume fitting? I think the costume fitting, I guess, is like the prequel to the first story of how she got the costume that she was wearing.
I like the cliffhanger of the second issue.
Okay.
Where somebody's tracking her, whatever. So I guess, I don't know, maybe this did work. I kind of liked it. I feel like I'm hating on it, but I thought everything was good. The art was good. I like her character. I like her home life. I like the blend of her trying to balance being a mom and a wife and a superhero. I just don't like 2 stories. Give me 1 good story. Look at that.
Yeah, that's one reason I like
it. Dude, I've always liked Spider-Woman.
I'm talking about the colors.
Oh, yeah. Those colors
That's how you should draw female superheroes, bro.
I agree.
Did you read this or no?
I didn't get a chance to. It's sitting on my pile, though, for sure. I'm looking forward to it. Even with the 2 stories. I never really was a big fan of backup stories. But if it's just like a reason to, if it's like a chapter, I remember like the annuals would always be, 4-chapter books. They're much bigger than their usual comic book. And so I kind of take these like side stories kind of like being the same way.
I didn't care. I didn't. Yeah, look at that. She got some serious vomiting powers.
I would have been fine with the story.
I just didn't care about any of it. I went through it and did not care about anything. I kept going back over the vomit pages because I just thought like I was thinking of the artist and how they were, planning out how they're going to draw this stuff based on what the script said.
She's gonna puke.
Yeah, she's gonna puke.
And she's gonna spot her symbol and puke on the ground.
Can you puke right now?
Some puke panels. It'd be like if I went to a con and the artist had one of those laying out. I was like, give me that puke panel and sign it for me, please. But
you're the cosplayer gonna puke from now on.
But it's more. She's like the ghost from the Sixth Sense. I'm feeling much better now. It got vomit. But anyway, I don't know. As far as the story, I just didn't care.
Yeah, I feel you, man. There's nothing that happened. She was hired to work security at a rich kid's birthday party. And then, of course, things go wrong when people try to kidnap her daughter, or not her daughter, but the person she's looking after, the birthday party girl. So she defeats all these bad guys, and then I think they still get away with her. Yeah, at the end. And then she felt something go wrong with her, and she starts throwing up. So I don't know. And then the second story has like someone tracking her, and it was just a costume fitting because she didn't want to wear her regular Spider-Woman costume when she's like for hire. Working security or whatever, she just feels like it taints the image. So yeah, I don't know, man.
You should have flipped it with her getting fitted with this new costume.
Yeah. And then
she's going to do this birthday party to try to make money.
It could have been one story.
Yeah, why not just spin it that way? And then at the end, you already know she's being tracked, and then all this stuff. It's just Marvel, man. It's there's nothing against Carla Pacheco.
Yeah, not against the artist or anything, or
the art was great. The story was fine.
Just funny with the teenagers and stuff. Teenagers being teenagers. Being jerks. It was pretty funny at parts. Like there was like the couple who was like, "Yeah, who are you supposed to be?" It's like, "Oh, it's a bad Spider-Woman costume." Meanwhile, the teenagers making fun of her is wearing the actual Spider-Woman costume. And then later on, next panel, you see her making out with her boyfriend in the back. This is teenager stuff, and it's pretty funny. But I mean, I don't think I'm gonna buy issue 2, man.
I'm not gonna order it, but if I see issue 2 on the shelf,
with a cool cover or something,
I may grab it.
Yeah, it depends on the cover, man.
And it depends on what's in my pull box that week, what I've got. Yeah. Apparently, Venomized Ryan loved it. I know he bought a ton of covers. He has the most epic collection of the Wolverine #1 covers I've ever seen. He's got every cover they did for that book.
I do like the montage cover I got though. I thought that was. Yeah,
that's
cool. That was pretty cool cover.
Let's rate this book. We're almost at 2 hours. Yule comes on, and I just ignore all the rules.
Oh, sorry. I want to say one thing about Spider-Woman. I think you have to already like her to want to buy the book.
True. And I'm glad that they said that they included the point that she's in Strike Force as well. I just caught up on Strike Force by Teenie Howard. And that's probably one of the better books she's written, but it's okay.
But if you flip back to that intro, they mentioned that she was in Hydra, but then when you flip and when she's talking, she fails to mention that she was in Hydra. She leaves that out. Hell Hydra.
Oh, and also I want to bring up the point. This is Venomized Ryan said we're missing the point, which I'm not sure what the point is, but I had a flashback of an important part is that her daughter and her husband are dead. Or am I getting books mixed up?
No, her husband and daughter were in the book.
Okay, man, what book am I thinking? It was always a question where like it was a certain character where like, oh yeah, doesn't she have a kid? Oh, it's Valkyrie, dude, Valkyrie, because people kept asking what happened to Jane Foster's kid and her husband or whatever. It's like they just ignored that, and then they had a flashback recently, and a recent Valkyrie issue was like, oh no, the kid and her husband or whatever died in a car wreck. I was like, oh crap, like they never talked about that before, so. Yeah, so I'm sorry I switched up with Spider-Woman because
we got to wrap this thing up. We got to finish this show. I'm giving this book $1.99. If number 2's on the shelf, I'll grab it.
Wow.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm doing $1.99.
I'll go $1.99 as well.
He's $1.99.
And you didn't read it.
I'm an NA. I like it. I'll get the second issue. I like the character.
Just to let everybody know, Tuesday night, 9:00 Eastern Standard Time. Adam and myself, anybody else that wants to join us, Yule, if you want to hang out, Jason, if you want to hang out, whoever, we're going to plug Jonathan Hedrick's Kickstarter for Freak Show Princess. He sent us all a free copy of it. We've all read it. I want to promote his book, get more eyes on it. He's got a Liana Kangas cover. I don't know if it's still available. We're going to be right here on the S&B Network Tuesday night, 9:00. Come hang out. Show your support for Jonathan Hedrick. He has supported this podcast. He's promoted this podcast. He bought a ComicCast shirt. So I want to promote his book and his Kickstarter as much as possible. That is going to wrap it up. You know all the stuff for us. Yule, where can they find you on Twitter? Plug your YouTube, all that good stuff.
You see my my Big Blue Yule, that's my Twitter. Fantastic comics channel. And if you're at all interested or have a girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, or mother that's interested in Stephen Sondheim, I'm going to be doing something on the Yule Carter channel tonight at 9 or 12 your time.
I will be asleep.
I'm embarrassed I even said anything all of a sudden.
All right.
Do you know who Stephen Sondheim is?
I don't even know the name. Never heard of it.
Happy
birthday
to him.
Next week with I think the writer of the comic book Cantu. I've got to check the calendar, but I think that's who's going to be hanging out. Come hang out. Man Bear Pig's going to close us out. He says, OMG, Yule. We're out of here. We'll see you guys next week.